Crafternoon, everyone. I'm Gina from Gina K Designs, and it's great to see all of you coming in from all around the world. Today we're going to have some fun because we're going to be creating cards with two different ways to shine. We're going to be using powder. And I think this video will be fun today because you'll be able to see side by side the differences between a foiled card and a gold embossed card, and you can decide which shine is right for you. Also, both of these methods can be mixed and matched together to create different types of shine on one card, which is really fun and even more interesting if you choose to do it. But I'm also going to have lots of tips and tricks for how I get good foiling and good embossing. And if you have any questions regarding foiling or embossing today while I'm teaching this, I'll do my best to answer those questions. Tom will help me with those types of questions today. A big shout out to Brianne Loveland. Thank you, Brianne, for being here. We appreciate you so much for helping us like you do every week. Brianne is here linking all of the products that I'm going to be using today. And if you miss any links, of course, you can always head over to our website at ginakdesigns.com and find the things that I'm using today. Before we get started with today's video, though, let's say hello to Tom. Hey, Tom. I saw you dancing to the music.
Good crafternoon. Is that what that was?
That was dancing, I think. I don't know. Tom was dancing in the background. Even when he's not on the screen, I've got on my screen, I can see him, and he's real tiny in the bottom, and sometimes he does very silly dances and things, and makes me laugh.
Yes. Happy crafternoon all. Hope you're all doing well. We have a beautiful day in Wisconsin.
We do, yeah. It's the weather. Hopefully the weather's starting to get a little bit nicer. I'm still in a sweater, though.
Right.
Still in a sweater.
Yep.
Still too cold. I woke up this morning, the house was 65 degrees. That's too cold. I did turn the heat on. I'm not ready.
Yes. Back and forth.
Yeah. So you have a word of the day?
I have a word of the day. Yes.
All right. Awesome. Okay. Well, let's get started in today's video then. So here is the stamp set and the Poly-Glaze sheets that I'm going to be using for today's video. This is the Peaceful Petals stamp set. Now, if you didn't get this, this was just released in our last release. If you didn't get this in our last release, you may already have it if you took the SCT Crop and Create event that was earlier this spring. This was my class kit, and it is a sympathy stamp set, something that I think everybody needs, unfortunately. And these are good cards, of course, to make ahead of time because it's better to have them ready to go than to have to be thinking about making a card in that kind of critical time. But these stamps and this background and even some of these greetings can be made into cards that aren't sympathy cards. It's a beautiful floral set. And what's nice about this is there's a full die set that cuts everything out in this set except this panel right here. This panel was really designed to work with master layouts too. So you can see when you put this up against this panel, it gives a nice thicker white border around it. And this becomes a grounding panel for your floral images. It's a very rustic, kind of sketchy look to it. So it's not like a solid design, which is really nice for those grounding panels in the background. And I love this stamp, but there is no Poly-Glaze for this one. What I would suggest is if you want to do something like this with Poly-Glaze, use something like our flurries, because that's just little tiny stars and dots. It would be very, very beautiful in the background. Or you can stamp this and gold emboss it, and then you'll have those two textures like I was talking about. You'll have shiny foil, but also a more muted gold texture in the background. You can also just stamp it with some craft ink or some soft stone ink, and it's just beautiful. And then the thinking of you greeting, of course, that can be used with any other strip sentiment you have. Like it could say thinking of you and have a happy birthday. thinking of you during your retirement, on your wedding day, whatever. But these greetings are really nice because, I mean, this one here is just such a great one for a sympathy card. May your loved one rest in peace and may their memory be a blessing. Thinking of you and wishing you comfort and peace. That could also be for other things, just people who are struggling. Of course, with sympathy, so sorry for your loss. And then thinking of you, you are not alone. So I may or may not use these greetings. I guess I'll just use the thinking of you because I'm not sure if I necessarily want these to be sympathy cards or if I just want to say thinking of you and then when you open it up on the inside, missing you and hope you have a great birthday kind of thing. And then I'm going to use this design. Now there's a C design and there's an L design. The C looks kind of like a C and the L looks kind of like an L. And that's important because on the stencil you will see I have here two of the flowers that look the same, but I actually have which one is the L shape and which one is the C shape etched into the flower that it sits above. Here the L shape says it on top of this one. That fits this flower. And this, it says C shape there, that fits this flower. Although these two flowers look very similar, this part of the petal is a little bit different. This one is bigger than this one. So if we just made a bigger one, it would go outside the lines. If we made a smaller one, it wouldn't finish. And it has to do more with this design that was added into this makes that one a little bit smaller. We tweaked it down a little bit to fit that little doodad in there. So we did a separate coloring stencil for this one versus, I think you could probably see how it doesn't line up on that side there. It's probably not super easy to see, but when you get your stencils, you will see it. The other part of this stencil I want to tell you about is that these two on the bottom of these leaves, they line up with the stamp or the Poly-Glaze perfectly. And then after you finish doing that, you have to shift this one a little bit up here. I did that as a reminder to myself because for this design, because there's so many leaves in it, I wanted to remind myself to use more than one color combination of greens. I didn't want it to all be the same greens. And I figured that I would just do one at a time because this wouldn't line up. It would remind me. But it's super easy. All you have to do is just do this part. If you want them to all be the same, then just shift this over and do that part. But otherwise, everything else should be pretty self-explanatory in these coloring stencils. And then the Poly-Glaze, if you're new to foiling, the Poly-Glaze has every single one of these designs and greetings except for this background. And you get 8 sheets in here of the entire thing. So you'll get 8 of these and 8 of these and 8 of each of these greetings. So I thought I would use the Gina K Designs fine detail gold embossing powder, and I would use the Gina K Designs 14 karat gold foil. Those are our two most popular golds when it comes to embossing powder and foil. And you'll be able to see a big drastic difference between the way these two look when they're created. So I'm going to do the foiling first, and the reason is because foiling, you don't want to work in a dusty environment. And embossing powder is basically gold dust in a jar. So we'll have a lot of dust all over the place when we do the embossing. And also I have the embossing magic pad, which is what my daughter Rena calls a dust bag. It's really just, it removes any oil or static from your cardstock when you're doing heat embossing. But we don't want to make all this dust and then foil afterwards. So let's get the foiling done first. Okay, so with the fuse foiling machine, this is the machine I'm going to be used for foiling. There's an on and an off switch. I'm going to switch it to on, and then I'm going to turn this up to level 3. So when I'm doing a fine detail design like this, level 3 is perfect. Some people do like to use level 4 with Poly-Glaze, so if you're not getting a good adhesion with the foil, you can always turn it up to 4, but 3 should be sufficient. Now, if you're new to foiling, this type of foiling, this is what they call toner foiling, and you need to use the right kind of foil for this kind of machine. There's 2 different kinds of foils on the market. There's something called hot foil, which sounds like it would work with a hot laminator, but it doesn't. Hot foil is meant for those plates that go into the glimmer machine and into, there's another machine by Crafter's Companion. And that's a completely different foiling system, and we don't do any of that here at Gina K Designs because we have our own toner foiling machine. The kind of foil that you need for this is this type of foil, which is the Fancy Foils by Gina K Designs and ThermoWeb. And if I have one here, I should. This kind of foil. Deco foil. It comes in a tube like this. Now, ThermoWeb also makes a hot foil. They're shorter rolls, and it says right on the package, hot foil. Don't use that for this. It will just completely cover the whole thing. It's not meant for this type of machine. The big differences between the 2 types of machines is what happens with hot foil, the other kind of foiling, is you use a metal, it looks like a die plate. It's a little bit different because it doesn't have a blade. It has more like the score line kind of parts of a die plate. And that plate gets hot, and everywhere the plate is touching the paper, it presses the foil down onto the paper. It's kind of like hot stamped business cards where you just kind of press this metal thing down, heats up the foil, and it creates the design. With toner foiling, what happens is, and I call this toner foiling, ours is not toner, it's Poly-Glaze, so it's a little bit different, but it's the same basic effect. With the black toner sheets or our Poly-Glaze sheets, basically what happens is this is printed with a material that will heat up and melt when it goes through the machine. And as it comes out the other side, it cools. And anywhere that the foil has made contact with this design, when it melts, it bonds the foil into the liquid, and then it comes out the other side. It happens really fast. It dries and cools pretty quickly on the other side, and it fuses the foil to either the Poly-Glaze or the toner, depending on what kind you're using. So it's a different thing. It's a completely different technique, a different foils, different everything, but the result looks very similar. Now, foil plates are beautiful because you can use them for other things. You can make impressions in your cardstock with them and stuff like that. The main difference that I see between these 2 types of foiling is there is a big learning curve with the foil plates. I've seen some frustration with them where people really have trouble getting them to work and getting the heat settings right and everything, getting the pressure right, because you also need your die cutting machine to run that type of system. And the plates are kind of expensive, you know, so if you buy just like a cover plate, I mean, if you buy a $30 cover plate or a $30 hot foil plate, you have one design for $30. With these, you get all of these different designs way cheaper, so you can have lots and lots and lots of different kinds of designs. And the other thing that I like about this, because, see, I get sick of things after a while. I don't know about you guys, but I think you guys are the same way as me. We buy something and we use it 10 times or so, and then we're ready for something new. So if you buy a pack of Poly-Glaze sheets and you get 8 of this design and 8 of that design, and you made 16 cards, or you made 8 cards, however many cards you make, you know, after I've made that many cards, I kind of want something new. So that's why I prefer this method, because it allows me to have more things for less money. But the plates are beautiful. So people that are using those plates, absolutely, you know, if you love to make hundreds of things with the same, you know, plate, then it's definitely a great investment, and it will also make beautiful cards. So, but I just wanted to explain the difference between those, because a lot of people are like, oh, I have a glimmer machine. Can I use your Poly-Glaze sheets? And they don't work. Now, the fuse machine is very similar to the Mink machine. We actually use the same manufacturer, so we know it's a great quality machine. It's got rollers inside that heat up, and it's got 6 different settings. The settings go from 0, which is cold. That's just pressure. So if you're doing a design where you want to add some pressure to the design, like remember the packing tape thing that we did the other day? If you just want to put the pressure down and you don't want to be scraping it with a credit card, I'm talking about this technique that we did with the heavy duty tape. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. You can just run it through your fuse on 0, and that'll press that tape down into your paper, pattern paper, and get that shine on there. 1 and 2 are good for real lightweight papers. So if you're using something like our fuse foiling gel through a stencil, and you're using it on a very delicate paper, like a lightweight vellum, it won't curl the papers like it will on a hotter setting, and it also won't burn the paper. Same with acetate. You might want to use a lighter setting if you've got like printable acetate and you have a toner printer, a laser printer at home, and you want to print your own designs on heat-resistant acetate. You can foil that, but you want to use a little bit of a lower setting because you don't want it to get too hot. 3 and 4 tend to be the best numbers for Poly-Glaze sheets and toner sheets. Those are the black designs that ThermoWeb has, and other companies like Tailored Expressions and Pink and Main. And Poly-Glaze sheets, we're the only ones that have these. These are printed with a clear Poly-Glaze material, and then we have a little bit of gray ink on there that actually allows you to see where the design is, so you know where to put the foil. But what we like about the Poly-Glaze sheets is if the foil misses anywhere on black, it's very obvious because you see a black speck. On our Poly-Glaze, it's not very obvious because it's so light you can barely see it. And then number 5 would be if you're using a very thick cardstock or a thick chipboard, like a lighter weight chipboard, but it's thick. For that bottom roller to heat the underside, you want to have a higher heat on that. So that's why we like the Fuse. We also like the Mink. It's a great machine, and why we think that a regular laminator is a little bit trickier to work with because you have no control over the heat settings. Now, that being said, we do have a lot of friends out there that are using a regular old Scotch laminator that they bought at Walmart or on Amazon, and it's working great for them. So maybe if you're just doing Poly-Glaze and you're just doing toner sheets, you know, that'll just work fine. But if you want all the nuances and be able to use it for, I know our friends at scrapbook.com use them for their rub-ons. They use the Fuse machine to put rub-ons on because it puts enough pressure on there that you don't have to like be scraping with a popsicle stick. So,
and then you had a few questions on that from viewers. You set it for the 0 with rub-ons?
I think they set it on 0. I'm not 100% sure, but you could check out scrapbook.com's YouTube channel and look at some of their earlier rub-ons. Gosh, I mean, I was out there last October. Maybe it was even the October before that. I don't know. The days are running together. Life's going by. But I know that Laura and Cody have used it, so you might want to just even shoot a little customer service email over to them and ask them what setting they have their Fuse on when they do their rub-ons. Any other questions there, Tom?
Okay. Somebody had some Pink and Main transfer foils, wanted to know if the Poly-Glaze sheets would work with them.
Yes. Yes, if you have Pink and Main foil, any foil that works with a black toner sheet will work with our Poly-Glaze. So if you've got Tailored Expressions foils, and you've got Pink and Main foils, or you've got Crafty Critta foils. Like, those companies sell foils that are designed to work with this type of machine. So you can use those with our Poly-Glaze sheets too.
And from Jane, she wants to know, I know we are all using our new alcohol markers lately. Can we color into the Poly-Glaze after foiling, or would the alcohol eat the foil?
You can definitely do that. And not only can you do that, but you can color the foil. So if you're using like just the plain black toner sheets or the plain white Poly-Glaze sheets that are just solid, you can color your foil with alcohol markers after you've foiled on it, and because alcohol markers will stick to non-porous cardstock, you can colorize your foil. So you can do kind of a rainbow look. I have lots of videos on my foil playlist here on YouTube that will show you how to do that. So no problem. But you certainly can color in your designs if they're, you know, foiled. The one thing I would say though is if you're using like a silver or a gold foil and you're using a dark alcohol marker, remember, if you touch the foil with the marker, it will color the foil too. It won't eat it away, but it will color it. So try to stay inside the lines or use lighter colors with your foils.
And a fun question from earlier. What ink color do you think matches your, Gina K ink color matches your top today?
Well, I think Passionate Pink would be the closest. But I also think Orchid. So I actually thought about doing like maybe the medium Orchid today to see, or even the dark Orchid. Kind of these colors, when they mix together, that might look kind of good with my top.
I was thinking one of the trios, like the cranberry.
Well, I think the cranberry will be a little too red. I know it looks right here, but I think it's going to have too much red in it. And this top definitely has a little pop of purple. So I'm going to use orchids today to color my flowers, just so that we can see if it matches.
Nice.
All right, so let's get started in making this card, because I know you guys want to get started here. So now, another question I get a lot is, what is the right order to do these Poly-Glaze sheets? And I did see somebody say, do you have any other sets like this flower that will work if you don't have the new petals? And we do. We have lots of beautiful flower sets that also have coordinating Poly-Glaze designs. Our wishful florals, our delicate flowers, spring clusters, friendship flowers. There's so many. So take a look at our Poly-Glaze sheets and look at all the floral designs. And if you see the floral designs, then there's definitely a coordinating stamp and die and coloring stencil set that goes with it. Okay, so I'm going to do a Thinking of You. And I'm going to do a With Sympathy, because I am going to make one of these I'll do the embossing one as a sympathy card. This one, because this is going to have a lot of sparkle and shine to it because it's foil, and it might be a little overkill for a sympathy card. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is how to get a good, remember we talked about dust, how to get a good foiled impression and dealing with the dust. And for my repeat offenders that have been here with me forever, and maybe you already foil and you know a lot of this stuff, just think of these tips and tricks as a little bit of a refresher. And then for my new people, these are going to be really important tips and tricks. So what we're going to do is, I've got a couple different packs of this already open and cut. We are going to dust this. Dusting is really an important part of the process when it comes to toner sheets or Poly-Glaze sheets, because anywhere that there's dust that comes between your Poly-Glaze or toner and your foil, it will prevent the toner from adhering. So you will get some tiny specks of gold here and there because when they spray the Poly-Glaze on here, it can do a little mist outside of the design. But when we cut these with our coordinating dyes, you're not going to see any of that. And I also think it's really pretty because it adds a little bit of extra shimmer. Now, I like to use a Swiffer duster. So I'm going to dust this design with the Swiffer duster, and then I'm going to take a piece of foil that I already have cut here. I don't really have to use this big of a piece. Let's cut it down a little bit. I'll cut this part off here so I can use it for the greeting. We don't need that much. The one thing that's important, though, is your foil doesn't have to go over the whole piece of cardstock, but it does have to go over the whole design. Because if it doesn't go over the whole design, when this melts, it's going to stick to your plastic carrier sheet. Now, this is a plastic carrier sheet. It comes with the fuse. Sometimes people think this is just packaging material and they throw it away. So hopefully you don't do that when you get your machine. But if you did that, we do sell these carrier sheets in a 2-pack so you can get replacement sheets. And they are a consumable item. So over time, you are going to need to replace them.
And
Now,
a question.
they do wrinkle every once in a while. If you put it in sideways, it might turn into an accordion. It's not ruined. Just turn your fuse all the way up to the hottest level and send it through a few times to iron it out or flatten it out. It'll still have the marks from where it crinkled up, but you can still use it. I'm sorry, go ahead, Tom.
Mary Ann wants to know, are you able to use printer toner sheets in the fuse?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Okay, so I have my design pretty side up, and I have my foil pretty side up. And a lot of times when people are new at foiling, they put their foil on this way, thinking that they want this gold to adhere to this, but it won't adhere. It'll only adhere if you have it pretty side up. There's actually a thin coating of clear over this foil that's going to be left behind, and I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, so we're going to put that into the carrier sheet, and then we're going to put this into the machine with the folded side going in first so that those flaps don't get wrapped around the rollers. All right, now while this is going through, I'm going to get another piece of gold here. Is this big enough? No. I have all these like loose leftover pieces from other projects. So I just want to cut this down. Anything that doesn't have Poly-Glaze on it too, you can just trim around it and use it. And all of these little pieces that are left behind are the perfect size for greetings. So don't throw your foil away if you've got extra. And once it goes through the machine, it's not ruined. You can still use it. For example, you see this part here? I can use this on another project, so I could save this part of it and reuse it as long as it's not already, you know, has a design in it from the Poly-Glaze. You can reuse it. All right, so I'm going to let that cool for a minute, and then I'm going to dust this piece.
And what is the
I'm
cloth?
Gonna dust this
What is
piece.
the cloth you're using?
This is a Swiffer duster, so it's just a little dusting cloth, but it's kind of like, I don't want to say it's electromagnetic, but it's like, what do they call that, Tom? Where
Static.
Yeah, it's like a static cloth. So you know how when you dust, it just sucks the dust onto the cloth? Well, it sucks the dust off of your foil and also off of your Poly-Glaze sheets, or if you're using toner sheets, off of your toner sheets as well. And you know, the thing about it is, it doesn't look dusty in here, but it is. There's dust in the air. You know, if the sun comes shining through your window, how you can kind of see the dust, it's everywhere. So even if you're the cleanest person in the world, you still have dust. I am not the cleanest person in the world. Like, I shouldn't say, I'm not dirty, but I don't dust every minute. And we have dust in our house. We have a kitty. You know, he's dusty. So you definitely want to have a Swiffer duster close by. If you don't have Swiffer dusters wherever you are, I know they're not available under that name in every country, but look for some kind of dusting cloth. Okay, now I'm going to do the thinking of you as well. So I'm going to dust that, and I'm going to use one of these little leftover pieces here. I'm going to dust the back and put that on top, and then we will have all of our foiling done for this card. Then we're going to move to heat embossing. And we're going to stamp these images with our embossing and watermark pad, and we're going to heat emboss them in gold. Then we'll color them all at the same time, and this will save time. All right, so can you foil a whole sheet at once? You can, Candy, but here's the thing, is that these rollers are hot. They're at a certain temperature, and the bigger the sheet that you put through, as you get closer to the bottom, you've actually cooled the rollers off just a little bit, and the bottom of your sheet might not get foiled as well as the top of your sheet. So I choose to cut them out and just use them as I need them, or if I'm in the mood and I just want a batch foil, I'll just trim out a couple. You could put a couple on here at a time, but I try to use my carrier sheet as a guide. I don't like to go too much bigger than my carrier sheet to get the optimal heat on the project to make sure I get a great transfer. So, you know, I've seen people do it and they don't have a problem. Probably if you have it set to 4, you'll have better luck with that, but sometimes people have mixed results down toward the bottom of the sheet, and then once the Poly-Glaze goes through the machine, if it didn't foil, it's not going to foil very well a second pass through. So that would be my best advice, is to have your sheet no bigger than this carrier sheet. Okay.
We have a viewer who tried the packing tape technique on card layers and 3D folders, and boy, what a shine, so fun to do.
Oh yeah, that's such a fun technique. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. That was a fun video to make. Somebody said to me in one of the comments, I don't understand how this is a new technique when I've seen other people do it. Well, it's not a new technique. It's a new technique to my YouTube channel. You see, my daughter 24 years ago came up with that technique when she was a little girl. This is the packing tape technique. When she was a little girl, and she said to me, Mommy, I want to make shiny paper. I had done a whole blog step-by-step post 24 years ago showing people how to do it. Lots of people have done it since, and lots of people have made videos, but I'd never actually made a YouTube video on it, and something reminded me about it, and I thought, oh, I gotta do that. So yeah, it's not a brand new technique. It's been out there for a very long time, but it was new to my YouTube channel. All right, so I'm gonna peel and reveal. Oh, look at that gorgeous shine. Isn't that spectacular? I love that. Okay. Same here. Beautiful shine. Didn't miss a spot on there. Ooh, that's beautiful. And then the greeting. Thinking of you. Perfect. So we have some greeting sets that are just Poly-Glaze, like our elegant greetings and our graceful greetings. So if you already have that stamp and die set, you can pick up the coordinating Poly-Glaze sheets and just do a ton of greetings. Maybe you don't want to have all the flowers foiled. Maybe you want to just have regular flowers. You want to add maybe just a tiny bit of a gold pearl onto your flowers or something like that, or a gold iridescent dot. And then you want to have a little pop of gold just on the greeting. So lots of different ways to use foil where you don't even have to foil everything. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, don't use dryer sheets, because I just saw that comment and that was a great response. Dryer sheets leave a coating. They have fabric softener in them, and they'll leave a coating, and that will prevent it from foiling well. Dryer sheets are not anti-static dusting cloths. They make your clothes less staticky, but they don't serve the same purpose. So you definitely want to use something like a dusting cloth, something that will absorb the, just like pull the dust off of your project. All right, and we'll die cut everything at the end as well. Not at the end, but before we do our coloring. Now I'm going to get a piece of white cardstock here, and I'm going to trim this down. And I know there's a lot of information coming at you. But remember, the good thing is that this video is going to live here on the channel. I'll pop it into my foil playlist too, so it's easy to find. And you'll be able to go back, and if you have questions and you kind of remember, I think she answered that, but I can't remember what she said, you'll be able to come back and review this as well. Now I'm going to use my Misty stamping tool for this stamping. All right. So let's go ahead and just put this onto the grit mat so it stays nice and tight to the paper. And now here's where I'm going to get dusty. I'm going to start with my embossing magic pad, and I'm going to pop this up into the top corner here.
Question from Patricia. When you mass produce greetings, do you vary the colors or mainly do black?
Well, I like a black greeting, so I tend to do most of my greetings in black, but you can definitely vary the colors. If you use certain colors a lot, go ahead and vary them. All right, let me get my embossing and watermark ink here. So I'm going to use the Peaceful Petals stamp set for this. And again, I'm going to do the C curve one because I want these to be consistent. And I'm going to pop this right up here at the top, like that. And we're going to go ahead and stamp that with Embossing and Watermark Ink. Oh no, my YouTube froze here, so hopefully that didn't happen to you guys. I may have hit pause by accident. Oh no, it's my internet here. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. You still have a good stream going, Tom?
I do.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think I'm connected to, my laptop's connected to a different internet than our live stream so that I don't, you know, slow down the stream, but that internet is so far away from this studio that it has trouble connecting sometimes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. And then I'm going to pull this out right away, and I'm going to do these one at a time because I don't want the ink to dry. So I have a little piece of cardstock here, and I'm going to get the Gina K Designs Fine Detail Gold Powder. I like using a fine detail powder for these kinds of things because these are such a delicate design. It's such a delicate design. Now let me get a little paintbrush here. I have a paintbrush. I paid a lot of money for this watercolor paintbrush, and I never learned to watercolor, so now it's just a very expensive dusting brush. And I want to make sure that I remove any of the little flecks that are not in places that I want them, because if I don't do that now, it's going to be permanent. I mean, you can erase it. You can use a little craft knife to get rid of it, but who wants to deal with that when you have the shot here right now to just fix it? Okay. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and heat emboss this. I'm using my Marvy heat tool. It's an old one, so I don't even know if this is still available, but I like it, and you know, I kind of would rather buy new stamps and stuff than a new tool, even though it's not still available. But any heat tool that you have will work perfectly. Okay. So you may have noticed that I let my tool heat up for just a couple seconds before I actually started embossing. And that just helps everything emboss more quickly, and you risk less warping of the paper that way. So you can see now I've got that beautiful shine on there, but it's a totally different shine than foil. It's a more muted shine. And I feel like this shine might be a little bit more appropriate for a sympathy card, maybe. I don't know.
Question.
I love shine no matter what.
Question from Meg. Why does my embossing powder bubble when I heat it? It's visible once it's cooled.
Well, you should try using a fine detail powder. But if you're doing solid images, big chunky solid images, then a fine detail powder is going to look a little bit bubbly because it doesn't swell up as much. So you're going to see a few more craters in it. So you might want to get a different kind of powder if you're doing a lot of thicker images. Fine detail powders are great for these kinds of images and delicate greetings and stuff because it doesn't swell up too much. So it might be the powder. Also, sometimes powder can get old. I know that's kind of a bummer because we all have embossing powders that we've had forever. But they do get old, and sometimes they don't, they don't work as well after they've been sitting around for like a year or two. Mine's old though, and it's working just fine. So... okay, so now I just flipped that so I can put them both. I want to make sure that I'm not going to, yeah, there's room. So I'm going to go ahead and do this again. Yeah, you can heat from the back too. That might help a little bit. Sometimes I heat from the back just to get rid of the warping if it starts warping in a certain direction. Make sure we have good contact there.
Okay, questions are pouring in. You have the layering colors for pinks, purples, and green. Do you have any plan for releasing a layering series of blues?
So we have blues in our collection that already layer beautifully together. Depends if you're looking for blue or you're looking for tealish blue. We've got combinations for both already. For blue, I would try blue sky, powder blue, and blue denim. And for teal blue, I would go with sea glass, turquoise sea, and tranquil teal. I have a chart on our website under templates and charts that show all of the different layering colors from our collection that we already have. And then there's also a chart in our Facebook group that you could print and download, or you could just save it to your phone or your tablet that has all of the different layering combinations for an entire rainbow of Gina K Designs colors.
And Jan wants to know, can you use your Poly-Glaze in a regular laminator?
Well, I did go over that a little bit earlier. You can, but you don't have as much heat control. So there is the possibility, sorry, I dropped my heat tool. Oh God. There is the possibility that it will be either too hot and it'll kind of burn the toner or the Poly-Glaze, or it won't be hot enough and you won't get great adhesion. So you could try it and see how it works for you, but if it's not working well, you'll have fantastic luck if you decide to go ahead and get a fuse machine, or if you have a Mink. Okay. So there we go. I kind of like this layout. It's so pretty, just the way it is. Okay, and then I'm going to do the greeting. So I had said that I was going to do a sympathy greeting for this one, and I think I'm going to stick with that idea. I'm going to use, let's see, I think I'll do just the simple with sympathy. So let me put this back. And once you've embossed your stamp, if you can't get all the sticky off from your embossing ink, take it to the sink and just scrub it with a toothbrush and a little bit of Dawn dish detergent or any kind of dish soap, and you'll get rid of all of that residue. It's not always easy to get it off, but if you're worried about it. But actually, it won't hurt your stamps, and it won't hurt your, it won't like hurt other types of ink. It'll actually make the ink stick better to the stamp if there's a little bit left on there. Yeah, you can heat emboss over a foiled panel if you want. Definitely. All right, so I'm going to ink this up. But you can't use a heat tool to get foil to stick. That doesn't work. A lot of times you get bubbling just from holding the tool too close or just in one spot too long, too. So you could try heating it from the back. Sometimes that works for people, but I find that there's usually something else going on. Okay.
Can you use alcohol to clean stamps?
It's not a good idea. It will dry the stamps out over time. Just use water or soap and water if you're having trouble getting the stamps to stick, or there's, you know, ink on there. Some inks will stain, but alcohol will definitely dry out your stamps. So I don't recommend using alcohol on them. All right, so there is the With Sympathy greeting. Watch me emboss my whole jar of embossing powder by having it in a bad place. Also, if you have like something small you're working on, you can always use a clothespin, and that will prevent you from burning your fingers. So just grab a wooden clothespin from your collection. Also, the other thing I want to remind you too is bubbling sometimes comes from it not being completely embossed. So if you emboss it and it looks a little bumpy, make sure that it's completely embossed. That's why some people say, well, if I do it from the back, it smooths out. Well, that's because you only just emboss the very surface layer, and then when you hit it from the back, you're actually getting all of the powder. But you can see how pretty that is. It's so elegant. For those of you that have been stamping as long as me, and I know it's a lot of you, do you guys remember the very first time that you saw embossing? Wasn't that almost like a gateway drug to like getting you to just not ever be able to have enough? It's such a fantastic, fun technique, and it's one that because of foil, we kind of put aside and we don't seem to use it quite as much anymore, but it's such a fun technique. And it gives you a different look. And by mixing the two together, that's really fun too. Remember, you can make your own embellishments out of both embossed panels, gold embossed, silver embossed cardstock. Take a piece of paper and just smash embossing ink all over it, and then do a solid gold or silver embossing powder, and then take a little hole punch and punch out a bunch of little circles. You can use our Lots of Dots die and make a million little circles of all different sizes. And you can make your own gold embellishments. You can do it with foil too. So don't forget to just branch out and have some fun. Those are all the kinds of things I like to do when I don't know what to do. Because there are those days where you feel like, oh, I want to do something creative and crafty, but I don't know what I want to make. You can make a bunch of embellishments. It's super fun. Okay, so now we're going to cut these using the coordinating die set. So let me grab the Peaceful Petals die set, and we'll get this big die out. So this is the correct order for foiling. Foil before you die cut, always. Don't die cut the piece out first, and here's why. Because when you run this piece through the die cutting machine, it could put little dents in the design. And even though you may not see them with your eye, they could still be there. And the problem with that is foil can't sink down into dents. And it's going to miss spots. So I would definitely die cut after the foil is already on there.
And what kind of heat tool was that you were using?
Well, I'm using the Marvy heat tool, but I don't think they make it anymore. Yeah, the Marvy. But a lot of people use the Wagner heat tool, and that is one that is still available, and it's a fantastic heat tool. So I just happen to have this Marvy one, and I've been using it. Oh, here, so you could see how that looked. I just pulled that right away. Okay, let's do the next one. So we'll cut the foil ones first, and then we'll go ahead and cut those embossed ones. Oh, it's such a relaxing Thursday today. Right, foil, die cut, color. Exactly. That is the good combination. Foil, die cut, color. Yes, Stampin' Up! Is definitely a gateway thing for a lot of people, because a lot of times those people weren't looking for a hobby. They were just looking to support their friend at a party, and then all of a sudden you have everything in the catalog. Or you're a demonstrator and you didn't mean to be. I know. I've been there. Okay, so now we're going to do the embossed ones while we have this die out. And even with embossing, I mean, it'd be so hard to die cut this and then try to stamp it with embossing ink and not touch it. You know, it's just so much better to do it on paper first, just a big piece of paper, and then cut it afterwards. Is there a way to fix an old rubber stamp that have dried up and are hard now? Oh, that's a tough one. You could try adding a little glycerin over it and see if it comes back to life, but those old crumbly rubber stamps, you know, once they get too old, it's kind of hard to get them back. I'm sorry. That's tough. Okay. So we'll get this one, and then we'll cut our greetings. You guys are so nice. If you are new here, we would love you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. This way you'll never miss another video. And also check out our playlists on the channel, because we have a whole playlist for foiling. We have playlists for the Master Layout series. Playlists for lots of different techniques. 3D embossing folders. I finally put a playlist together for that because I had so many videos ready to go. So definitely check out the playlist. You can save my playlists to your account so that you can find them easily too. So, you know, playlists are great. And if you can also start your own playlist by just clicking on, let's see, I don't know exactly where, but I think there's 3 little dots under the screen, I know on the desktop, and then you can add it to a playlist. And if you don't have a playlist, you can create one right there. So let's say you like this video and you want to start your own foil playlist, but you want to add foil videos from other people to that playlist, you can start your own. All right, so we have the thinking of you, and it's kind of easier than trying to like save a bunch of links by creating your own playlist right on YouTube. And then we'll do the with sympathy. And everything will be cut and ready to be colored. So I feel like with this gold look, I'd like to maybe do some of the warmer pinks. But I think with the other one, I might try the orchids, even though it's gold. Oh, I'm so glad your kit shipped. Yay! We still have more kit videos coming, that's for sure. Okay. But I did want to do something with this because this was offered for the first time to the general public during our last release. I know a lot of you bought this and wanted to see how to make cards with it. All right, so I will be die cutting again because I want to cut out my Master Layouts panels for these cards, but first we're going to do some coloring. So I'm going to use my sticky mat for this. And let's start with the embossed ones. So I'm just going to pop these embossed designs right down here on my sticky mat. My sticky mat is getting less and less sticky. I've been using this one a lot.
Okay, Agnes is wondering why you don't cut multiple images at once.
You know, I just worry so much about things shifting that I like to do them one at a time just to make sure that they don't shift. You could certainly do multiples at a time if that works better for you. But I just worry about it a little bit too much. Worry about everything. All right, Brianne, I've got your ink stands out, so make sure that you link them and share this ingenious design with the world. I'm going to pick the carnations for this. Let me find them. So I'm going to do light carnation and a little bit of medium carnation. And then I think, because this is going to be a sympathy card, I'm going to use, let me see if I can find it here. Where are my spruces? Oh, they're in this rack. I ran out of room. I'm going to use just light spruce for my leaves. I think this will be a very soft color combination. We've got the light carnation here and the medium carnation. And then we'll do the spruce leaves. Okay. So with this, I'm going to just use a smaller brush, and I'm going to start with the biggest flower here. So I'm going to line that up, and I'm just going to start with the light carnation. I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm going to work my way up.
A lot of questions today and suggestions for
Use a
future products and plans about releasing certain products with other products, and those questions are a little tricky on lives, but we will look at those comments later and consider those.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so I decided to use a bigger brush, and then I'm going to use a detail brush and just grab a little bit of this medium carnation and just add a tiny bit of that right down here along the bottom, just to deepen up the bottom. So it kind of looks like the light is coming in this way. All right. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Again with the light carnation, just coming up from the bottom. And then getting lighter as I go to the top. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Now my light, I've told you this a million times, and I know it sounds funny to say this, but but it's true. My the way the light comes in, I don't know much about that. It doesn't mean a whole lot to me, and according to my daughter, I have several suns on my planet because the light's coming in from all different places. So now remember, I'm using the C-shaped one for this. So I am going to twist these around, and they're going to be opposite of each other. So if you really want it technically to all be light coming in from the top, then make the tops of this side darker and get lighter as you go down to the bottom. But I don't care that much. You know, about it's still going to look really pretty, and that's kind of what matters to me, is that it looks really pretty. But if you're technical and you're like, the light wouldn't do that in real life, you won't be wrong thinking that. It doesn't do that in real life. It just does it in my world. But when you come along the bottom of this one, you'll see that's where you get lots of separation between those two flowers, because it's light up here and then it's darker up there. All right, same one. I really like this stamp set. I think it's a really beautiful one. I love the floral design in it, and just having access to those types of greetings, it's a good one to have. It's one that you don't want to ever have to have, right? Because it's sympathy, but it's very, very necessary. It definitely makes people feel cared for and loved when they receive a card at that time. All right, so now we've got 2 of these. Now I'm going to just shift it and do this flower here. So give that a little heavy at the bottom here. Get lighter as we go. And we'll do the same thing with the medium. Just creating those lights and darks just looks so beautiful. That's what I love about coloring stencils. I can't wait to see the orchids with this. I think it's going to be really pretty. And we'll go ahead and do that. Now, with these 2 little flowers, we could add a different color, which might be nice to do. So let's pick something different that will go nicely with this. Maybe just a little pop of yellow in there. Not yellow, more like, yeah, yellow, but more like marigold as opposed to like a bright wild dandelion, because marigold actually has a little bit of an orange in it. So let's do a little bit of marigold in there. Let me put my brushes back and let me find a brush for this. So I'm going to use this tiny detail brush. And there are 2 different flowers on here. The smaller one goes to the top and the bigger one goes to the bottom. I'll do the top one first. So this will give us a little pop of brightness. It's not quite as primary yellow as wild dandelion is. It's got just a hint of orange in it. It's a little bit warmer.
Okay, so we got surprisingly, a few requests for a word of the day.
Oh, let's do it, Tom.
Is this a good time?
It's a great time.
You heard the lady.
Word of the day, oh hey, hooray, let's laugh it up, don't delay. Word of the day, it's here to stay.
Okay. We'll see how long that can last. Okay, so quick and easy word of the day today. I'm pretty sure that just about everybody here today, well, a lot of people anyway, have had the experience of a computer that was running out of disk space. You know that feeling?
Yeah.
Where it's starting to tell you, giving you suggestions, and you try it and it doesn't work. And just keeps telling you that you're running out of disk space, and you try one thing after the other. Sometimes I guess it worked, but for the most part, it's a tricky thing. You try decompressing, and so if you've been through that, then you've experienced defragravation. All you computer users out there.
Oh my gosh.
Defraggravated computer users. Been there, done that.
You're going through that right now, aren't you?
Yeah, a little bit. Back to the dead space in a hurry.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny, Tom. All right, well, I've added a little bit of light spruce onto here. And I know that came from like some experience that you just had, because I saw you struggling with your computer. I think I didn't clean, when I cleaned the stencil, I didn't dry it completely, so I got a little blob right there, and that's what can happen, but that's all right. We'll make sure that the greeting goes over that. We'll hide it behind the greeting. right. There we go. Green in here. That's such a pretty soft green. Perfect for a sympathy card. Now, one thing I want to remind you, whether it's foil or it's embossing ink, you need to just blot these with a paper towel, because any ink that was sitting on top of that embossing powder is not going to dry. It's just going to sit there on top of the embossing powder, and it's going to end up smearing. So you want to make sure that you just tap that off, blot it with a paper towel. All right, so yeah, what I'll do is I'll position it like that somehow, and we'll pop our greeting over that. It won't even really matter, though. I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'd rather the card look great and not worry about it, but that's going to be my layout, kind of like that. So we won't worry about it. Okay, so that is the pinks. Now, let's go ahead and do orchids. Those were the carnations. Now we're going to do the orchids. Orchids are so beautiful, and I might do a brighter green for this one. So, orchid, where's the orchids? Are they?
Danette wants to know, how do you get Zeus to behave so calmly? My cat is always wanting to be right next to me or on top of the project.
Oh.
Well, Zeus is at home today.
He's what?
He's home today. Home.
Oh, yeah, he's home today. He only comes on Tuesday nights. He's a really chill cat, though. I mean...
He did jump up once or twice, but yeah, some cats are right in there.
Yeah.
Crafting cats.
Yeah. I don't think it's you know, all I'm saying is it's nothing that we're doing. Like, we aren't, like, great cat parents. We just got lucky. We know that because we have kids. And, you know, they're all different, right? He's just a very chill cat. He's a young cat, too. He's just turned 2. So he's still kind of kitteny, but I think it's just his chill personality. He's kind of a lazy cat. He lays around a lot. And... All right, so I'm going to start with the light orchid on this one. Some light orchid. Starting off the flower. Oh, this color. That color is so beautiful. All right, I got to put a little bit of medium orchid in here too. See, there's my shirt.
Gina, have you seen any of those videos on YouTube or one of the channels of the helping cats?
The helping cats?
Yeah, they're cats that like help with home improvement projects and stuff, and reach into the hole and get the screw that fell down there.
Yeah, I think I've seen some of those.
It's great.
Yeah, it's so fun. Zeus is a good cat, but he does scratch sometimes on the cabinets and stuff. So I just got him a new scratching post last night, and I put it right in front of the cabinet, and I think that's going to help because he was working on it this morning.
We're pretty sure that Zeus does have some Maine Coon in him.
Mm-hmm. The doctor thinks so, too. The vet thinks he's part Maine Coon and possibly part Siberian. He's definitely a forest cat. He's big. He's a big boy. And I think that they're like a little bit more dog-like. Well, there he is. They're a little bit more dog-like. He's got the M on his forehead like a Maine Coon. So you guys like the orchids? I love the orchids. I don't use them enough. I gotta use orchid more.
Isn't that a species of whale?
No. You mean orca?
Oh, maybe that's it.
The orchid whale. The amazing pink orchid whale. That's funny. You're funny, Tom. You know, I wasn't so sure about the orchids with the gold, but I really like it. My shirt is right in between passionate pink and orchid. It's probably more passionate pink. Okay, so now we're going to... Did I tell you guys I joined a Maine Coon Facebook group? Because when we first got Zeus, and we took him to the vet said, yeah, I think he's definitely got Maine Coon. The only thing that he doesn't have that a Maine Coon has is the tufts on the top of the ears. So she said, yeah, I definitely think he's got Maine Coon for sure, but she's like, maybe some other type of forest cat, like a Siberian or something like that. And so I thought, okay, well, you know, I'm new to cats, so I joined a Maine Coon Facebook group. And I shared a picture of Zeus, and I said, this is my boy, he's part Maine Coon. Oh, my word. People were horrific.
Oh, it was one guy, really, wasn't it?
It was a couple.
Oh, it was a couple.
It was a couple people. And I guess because Maine Coons are very, very expensive.
You tripped a few wires that day.
I did. I got on a few people's nerves in that group. I really did. Okay, let's do a pop of blue in this one. We'll do some blue flowers. I'll put a little blue sky in here. Yeah, they were not very happy to see me. And they told me if I wanted a Maine Coon, I should spend the money to get a Maine Coon. And I said, well, actually, he was a rescue. And that started a whole other thing. That nobody would give up a Maine Coon. I'm like, well, they're probably right, but... So I joined a different Facebook group that had like Maine Coons. It's called forest cats.
The rejected Maine Coon group.
Yeah. It's forest cats. So if you have a Maine Coon, a Siberian, or a is it a Norwegian forest cat or something like that, or any combination, you can be in the group. And they're very nice. They're very nice. I guess it's like that too, like with like dog breeders that are like very protective of their breed. They don't like necessarily like golden doodles. They say that's not a real breed. That's a mutt. And I'm thinking to myself, well, have you seen the price of a golden doodle? I think it's becoming a pretty popular breed. I don't know. I understand both sides. I'm not trying to... Please don't unsubscribe. Okay, so let me fix this here. I was a little off on the stencil and I missed a tiny little bit. So my daughter has a Keeshund, if you've ever seen one of those. They're big, gray, fluffy, wolfy-like dogs, but they look like jumbo Pomeranians in a way. They're so cute. And they do a lot of, she doesn't, but her friends that she bought the dog from, there's a group of them and they show the dogs and stuff, and you know, so I understand, you know, wanting to keep the breed pure and all of that, but We just inherited this cat, and we're just doing our best to love him. That's all that matters, right? Okay, so I'm going to do jelly bean green for these leaves because I think that just having a bright green versus this soft green for like the sympathy card, I think it'll be nice. Alrighty. So I want to make sure that I don't have any alcohol on here. I'm cleaning the stencil in between with alcohol so I don't have Orchid all over the place. Okay, so jelly bean. I'm going to go a little darker right at the bottom here, just to get that fade. I have buttons on my sleeves and they're banging into everything, so I apologize for those that are sensitive to sound. There we go. Oh, I love this color combination. It's so pretty. So we'll have the peaceful, soft sympathy card, and then just the brighter friendship card. Let me try to line that up better. There we go. These tiny designs like this. Also, when it comes to foil, you got to do the same thing. You got to tap it off because it's not going to stick to the foil. So I always just take a paper towel and just kind of rub over it. And that just absorbs any of that ink that's resting on top. It's not much, but it's worth doing it than smearing it. So you can see how pretty that is, that color combination. And then here's our first one with the gold embossing. So, which style of shine are you guys gravitating toward most? You could definitely see how this being a softer, more muted shine might be better for a sympathy card, where this one might be better for, because this is like Broadway over here, and here it's just like a little bit of a mist of a shine. All right. Now we're going to assemble these cards. I can look at them side by side. Woo! We're getting close to summer now. Does anybody here have any kids or grandkids graduating soon? That's coming up fast. I can't believe it. Our daughter is finishing up a year at college this year. She's got one more year, and she will be getting done. So I'm going to use Master Layouts 2. And I'll use some white, so I'll cut 2 of these. So you like both? Yeah, for different things, right? Both options are good. So I'm gonna run this through. You like the Poly-Glaze better, Marge? Diane, you too? Oh, it looks like a lot of people have graduations happening. So Darlene likes the Poly-Glaze, but then she likes embossing if she doesn't have a design in Poly-Glaze. Yeah, that makes sense. The Poly-Glaze is super fun. And if you love foil and you love the foiling process, it's always such a wow when you peel the foil off. Yeah, I need to use the orchids more. They definitely have such a pop to them. I'm running these through twice just because for some reason on my last video, it didn't cut all the way through. I think I just didn't have the tension set right, but it's looking good now. Okay, and then we'll do a black panel. I know, shocker, I'm using black.
Our daughter Alicia is an artist.
Yes. She is she's getting a 2nd degree. She's got a bachelor's in fine art in film. And now she's getting her bachelor's in fine art in painting and drawing. Okay, so I'm like playing in my mind which color card bases I want to use, and I have a good idea of what I want to do here. So hopefully you guys will agree with me. We'll see. All right, one more piece, and then we'll be ready to assemble. I probably should show you too. I might do it on the, I think I'll do it on the embossed card. I'm going to show you that background stamp and how pretty that is. Is that thunder, Tom?
I don't think so.
I heard something. Heard something. We could do it on both. So, let's get the Misty one more time here. And let's put this down. And let's do the stamp.
It could have been.
Why, you hear it now?
No, but
Oh.
it looks a little foreboding out there.
It does. Ominous and foreboding.
Yeah, we've got some showers in the area.
So I'm going to use this stamp. This is the background stamp that comes in the Peaceful Petals set. It's this one right here. To do a little grounding area here. And I'm going to do this for the pink card. And I'm going to use light spruce as the grounding color. Now you could use gray if you want, but with that gold, and because there's that light spruce in there, I think that's going to look really pretty. So we're doing light spruce, and I'm not worried about like a perfect impression. Doesn't even matter, because you're not going to ever get a perfect impression with a stamp that is designed to look like an imperfect impression. So,
Question, is all your colored paper white and the white layering and the heavyweight white layering weight?
no, the only layering weight cardstock we have is our layering weight white and our layering weight ivory. Everything else is 100-pound heavy base weight cardstock, and our white and ivory heavy cardstock is 120 pounds. All right, so I'm going to do a second one of these for the other design. And for this one, no, you know what? I don't know if I should do this one or not. I think I'll keep this one plain. Let's just keep this one plain. And we'll see how it looks. It's going to have a lot of shine, and we'll add a few embellishments. I think it's going to be enough, but I wanted to have something. I wanted to just show this to you. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to adhere these two panels together.
Thank you, Marianne. Marianne found my music on Instagram.
Oh, awesome.
Just having a bit of fun.
A spot of fun. And then the color that I like with the carnations, since we don't have a carnation cardstock, is Innocent Pink. Innocent Pink is such a beautiful color. Let me see if I have an Innocent Pink already cut. I might. Let me just look here real quick. If not, I will cut one. I have Bubblegum. I have Dusty Rose. I have a half sheet going this way. I could do this. But see how pretty that looks together? Even though it's not... I mean, Innocent Pink is definitely a different color if you lay them all next to each other. But we're going to do a side fold card here. I rarely do a side fold card because I find it easier to photograph them when they're tent style, but I have this piece all ready to go. They just lay better. See how, because it pops up like that, see? but tent style cards tend to stay down in the picture, but I'll tack it down. It won't be a problem. So I feel like the carnation here is, I mean, the innocent pink with the carnations is just going to be beautiful. Okay. So now let's pop these up using some foam squares, and we're going to make a circular wreath design. And we'll use a few small ones here.
I don't know what song I'm playing at the wedding yet. I have to figure that out.
Oh, yeah. I guess that's the thing now.
I have some ideas.
So the kids are hiring saxophone players to come out and get the crowd on the dance floor by playing saxophone and walking through the crowd. So Rena asked Tom if he would do that. That's kind of fun. Let's put this one up here.
Marian asked about the instrument I played on Instagram that looks like a clarinet. That's actually it's like an electric saxophone. We may do, Gina and I may do, we don't know,
Yes.
some kind of live with the music at some point just for fun.
Yeah, a lot of people have asked us to do that, and they want to hear Tom play, and they miss the music, but we don't do the music anymore because it's hard for people to concentrate on the crafting. So we might do a live from our basement one night where Tom plays music for you guys. I'll work the controls. I'll be in the dead space, and Tom will be playing his music. It'll be fun. What do you guys think? Do you want him to do that?
Some people are nervous that I'm running out of time to pick a song.
Oh.
No worries. It'll be okay.
The thing about Tom, what you might not know about Tom, is he never has to learn a song because he can hear it once and he can play it.
Well, that's not totally true.
It's pretty true.
I have to learn some songs, but
It's pretty true.
it's one of the few things in life I don't worry too much about. It'll work out.
All right, so I'm going to put that there. And then I'm going to put that there, like that.
As many of you know, music is where Gina and I started out together.
Yeah, that's where we met. We met playing in a band. I played keyboards and sang. And Tom played saxophone. And then guitar came much later, right? Guitar was kind of a whim.
Yeah, that was kind of like had to fill in for somebody or something.
All right, so we're going to put that with sympathy greeting right in the center. And then I'm going to put tape on the ends. I only have foam squares in the middle.
If you want to hear Gina singing, go to my Instagram. It's TK on More Music.
Oh, you might want to.
And you'll hear
Make a
her
banner
sing.
for
I
that.
don't know if she's going to jump in the future with it'll probably, if we do any lives or whatever, it'll be me just playing saxophone. For the jazz lovers out there.
Yeah. I'm going to add a few little sprinkles to this design. I'm going to use our matte glue for this. I'm going to just put a couple little soft pink sprinkles here. It's a lot of glue. I'm going to try to suck some back into the container there. There we go. So you can suck it back in if you put too much down. There we go. And we'll just put a few little of these soft pink ones. These are pretty. I like these soft pink ones. They're perfect for this. Is this pink? Can't even tell. I think it is. It might not be as pink as I want it to be. Let's get rid of that. I'll put this one down instead. That's a little more pink. And put this one there. All right, so there we go.
Wow.
There's the gold. You can see that gold shining.
Got to do the blingering sound.
The blinger, oh yeah. Yeah, let's go. Okay, so there's that one. Now this one will make it a little less complicated because there's a lot more shine on this one.
That was very soothing, that card. Sympathy.
I'm going to do this one in this direction. A horizontal card. And I'll do it like this. And then we'll put the thinking of you in the center here. Right there, like that. Ooh, that's so pretty. I love the way you almost see the branches going in an oval. I like that. So this one's a little bit more like this. And this one's a little bit more ovaled. Where these are kind of facing each other and these are just a little staggered a little bit.
I think they're just closer together.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll put some foam squares on the back of this. So Tom, we should do that. That would be very fun. I think people would enjoy hearing your music.
What do you think, on a Friday night or something?
Yeah, we could do like a Friday night at Tom and Gina's club. Tom and Gina's basement nightclub.
Well, there you go. Stay tuned, folks.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I'll have a fruit salad in the background with everybody else while you're working. Who's coming? Who's coming to the nightclub? I'll announce it on my live here, and also if you want, I could send you an email, or I could share it in the Facebook group.
You're getting all kind of requests to sing, Gina.
Oh my gosh.
Knew that was going to happen.
Well, you could see me sing on Tom's Instagram now. I want to be in the crowd. I want to have the fruit salad in the crowd. Plus, somebody has to work the controls. I want to be in the dead space. I want to have a word of the day. A word of the night. Okay, so I'm going to try to... Sometimes if you put them down at the same time, you know, you get... Oh, no! Okay. So, looks pretty good, like that. Okay, I'm going to put this one down first, right there. Now I can put this one down. I just want that to be like more of a ring kind of thing, like that. Oh, I love it. Love. And then this will go right in the middle. I don't even know what I'd sing.
You could sing anything. Why did you give up singing, Gina?
Why did I give up singing? Well...
She just got interested in other things.
Yeah.
She moves around.
I wanted to have a baby. That was really why I gave up singing, because I didn't...
Like I said.
There we go. All right, we could put a couple little blue gems in here. Let's put one here, and one here, one down here. I'll still do the uneven number. Let me move that one. I'm not worried about it because I'm using the Connect mat, so you won't even see that. I think I'll just do some of these little clear ones.
Here's a question. What cardstock do you think looks best with Orchid ink?
So I would do a different color outside of Orchid. We don't really have an Orchid right now. That doesn't mean we're not going to have a single Orchid color the way we have a single cranberry color. That might be something that's coming in the future. I'm not going to make any promises, but because I don't want to ruin any surprises. But I would pick a different color that's in the card for the card base. So, for example, in this case, what a mess I made here with all of these embellishments. But like for this card here, I probably would go with either blue sky, which would be very pretty. And I'll show you a couple different options for this one. So blue sky would be an option because we've got that little pop of blue sky, and you don't really see the blue sky very much, but if you had a card base that was blue sky, your eye gets drawn to that blue a little bit more. You notice it a little bit more. We could also do a color that's not even in there, like apple mint, which would be a very soft color, and it's a lighter green, so it doesn't really take away from the green in the jelly bean. That still pops pretty well. And then another option would be just going a little bit more colorless, like with a soft stone, where the colors just are what you see, and the card base just kind of fades into the background. So let's do a quick poll. Shall we? All right, here's the poll. Oh no, what's wrong with my... I can't do a poll. Let me pull those colors out again so you can see them again. I can't do a poll. So tell me what you like in the chat. Do you like the blue sky? Here's the blue sky. That's blue sky. Here is the soft stone. And then here is the apple mint. What are you seeing the most of, Tom?
Boy, it's hard. The apple mint is quite engaging.
Yeah. Apple mint. I'm seeing a lot of blue sky, though. A lot of blue sky. Yeah, I think blue sky is kind of winning.
Go back to blue sky.
Okay, I'll go back to blue sky. Here's blue sky.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
All right, let's do the blue sky. I do like the soft stone too. I like the apple mint. I think the apple mint might just be a tiny, tiny bit flashy in real life, harder to see on the screen. So those of you that said blue sky or said apple mint, you might not like it as much in real life because the apple mint has a little bit of a bluer tone, and the jelly bean green has a little bit more of an olivey, more yellow in it. You might not like it in real life, but I always like to just lay out a couple of colors and just see what jazzes me in the moment.
Linda said it amazes her how the background color changes the feeling of the card.
Oh, I agree.
So true.
100%. It's so true. This card, actually, let me just rip that off there. This card would look really good with the soft stone because it's a sympathy card, you know, like for those of you that love the soft stone, that would look really good with the soft stone. But, you know, it also looks really pretty with this this Innocent Pink. And Innocent Pink is also a very soft color too. So see me just rip that off like I didn't care. Took a shot.
Yeah, she was really good with Band-Aids.
Yeah, no problem. Come here. Okay. I like the blue sky with this because the Orchid is such a cool tone. This would have been better for me to put down onto the card base first. I don't like my score line on that side to try to get it straight, but it's all right. We'll deal with it. There we go. Okay, so let's zoom in a little bit and we can look at these two. Get that out of the way. Okay, so here we have the soft, subtle shine of embossing. Still gets shine, but it doesn't feel overpowering, so it makes more sense for a sympathy card. And here, more for a friendship card with the brighter colors, that more metallic kind of shine. Both super pretty and, you know, just different from each other, just a different feel. All right, Tom, which one do you like the best? You knew I was going to ask.
Oh, you know, I could look at either one and go in different directions and enjoy it.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick one for today, I think I would go with the blue.
This one with the little pops of
Yeah.
blue? Yeah. Yep. I also love the shine of Poly-Glaze. So if you haven't tried Poly-Glaze yet and you're thinking about foiling, it's so easy. It's foolproof, you know, there's no learning curve. You just run it through the machine and that's what you get. So, all right. Well, we are going to give away a $15 gift card to one lucky winner today. And before we do that, if you liked today's video, and we certainly hope that you have, if you wouldn't mind giving it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and all notifications so you never miss another video. And then, if you're not part of our Facebook group, come on over and join us on Facebook. The name of our group is Gina K Designs and Stamp TV Friends, and we've got 50,000 members over there. Look for that group because there's a few knockoff groups that have way less members that are using our name, and we can't get rid of them. We tried. But come and join us, answer the security questions. They're just questions like what's your favorite stamping technique, so we know you're not a robot, and agree to the rules of the group, and you will be let right in, and you can see all of the beautiful Gina K Designs projects in there. You can search the group depending on what Gina K set you have, and you can get so much inspiration. Our members are amazing, and they're so friendly and helpful, and we want to see your Gina K Designs projects too. Then, another big shout out to Brianne Loveland. Thank you again, Brianne, for being here and helping us find everything. But if you missed any of Brianne's links, you can find everything that I used in today's video on our website at ginakdesigns.com. All right, Tom, let's give away a gift card. Shall we?
Okay. Here we go. Drum roll. Today's winner. Afternoon. The winner is Ronz Thompson 6233. Ronz. Yay.
Hey, Ronz, congratulations. You are our winner. You will get a $15 Gina K Designs gift card that you can use whenever you want because they never expire. All you have to do is send your name and email address to info@ginakdesigns.com and let them know that you were today's winner.
Maybe it was Ron Z. Thompson.
It might be Ron Z. All right, so thank you guys so much for being here today. Tom and I will be back next Tuesday night with another Stamp and Chat Live. In the meantime, everybody, stay safe and stay healthy. We love you all so very much, and mwah, we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.